welcome everyone. Now you're here, we'll have some fun. First we'll clap our hands just so, then we'll bend and touch our toes. Welcome everyone. Now you're here, we'll have some fun. Today's animal is a whale. Rainbow Fish and the Big Blue Whale by Pfister. A long way out in the deep blue sea, Rainbow Fish and his friends swam happily through the reef. Each of them had a glittering silver scale, except for one little striped fish, but he belonged to the group anyway. When the fish were hungry, they ate tiny krill. There seemed to be endless supplies of the delicious shrimp. Rainbow Fish only needed to glide gently through the water with his mouth open to catch as many as he wanted. It was a wonderful life. One day, a gentle old whale swam by the reef and decided to stay. He liked the spot since he too ate the krill that were so plentiful there, and he enjoyed being around the glittering fish. Often he drifted along, watching them for hours, admiring their beautiful silvery scales. Before long, the fish with the jagged fins noticed the whale watching them. "Why is he looking at us like that?" he asked the others. He was in a particularly bad mood that day. "See how he's staring at us?" he went on irritably. "Who knows what he's thinking?" After that, all the fish grew more and more suspicious of the whale. "Look at that giant mouth," said one. "Soon the krill will be all gone." Rainbow Fish began to worry. Until now, the fish had always been able to eat their fill. What if the whale did eat up all the krill? And why did he keep staring at them? Was he planning to eat them too? One day, the whale swam quite near the school of glittering fish. Panicked, the fish with the jagged fins sounded the alarm. "Look out," he called. "The wicked whale is after us." When the whale heard that, he was hurt at first, but soon he grew very angry. "I'll show them," he thought. "I'll teach them a lesson." So the great blue whale shot into the middle of the school and lashed out with his gigantic tail, sweeping the sparkling fish in all directions. The terrified fish fled, racing towards a crack in the reef for safety. But the whale didn't leave them alone. He followed Rainbow Fish and his friends all the way back to their cave. The blue whale swam back and forth, casting sinister glances at the little fish. They were trapped. "I told you that whale was dangerous," whispered the fish with the jagged fins. "We have to watch out for him." After a while, the whale calmed down. He made one last pass, then disappeared behind the reef. Nervous but driven by hunger, the fish cautiously left their cave and swam off in search of food. But the battle with the whale had left its mark. All the krill had been driven off. "This is silly," declared Rainbow Fish. "Before we played happily in the sea. Now we hide in terror in our cave. Before there was always enough food for everyone. Now we have nothing. We must make peace with the whale." The other fish were all too afraid to approach the whale. It was up to Rainbow Fish. The whale stared at Rainbow Fish suspiciously. "Please, let's talk," said Rainbow Fish. "This fight was all a big mistake. It drove off the krill, and now we're all hungry." The two talked for a long time. The whale told Rainbow Fish how hurt and angry their hostile words had made him. "I never meant to harm you," said the whale, "just scare you a little." Rainbow Fish was ashamed. "I'm sorry," he said. "But when we saw you watching us all the time, we were afraid you might eat us." The whale looked surprised. "I watched you only because your shining scales are so pretty," he said. They both laughed. "Come now," said the whale. "Let's find new hunting grounds." So Rainbow Fish and his friends, protected by their new friend, the big blue whale, swam off together in search of a new home rich with krill. And before long, none of them could remember what the terrible fight had been about. You have been listening to Rainbow Fish and the Big Blue Whale by Pfister. It's called Wide-Eyed Owl. There's a wide-eyed owl with a pointed nose, 2 pointed ears, and claws for her toes. He lives way up in the tree, and when he looks at you, he flaps his wings and says, "Hoo, hoo." One more time, ready? There's a wide-eyed owl with a pointed nose, 2 pointed ears, and claws for her toes. He lives way up in the tree, and when he looks at you, he flaps his wings and says, "Woo-hoo, woo-hoo." Whales by Hansen. Whales Whales live in oceans around the world. There are two types of whales. There are baleen and toothed whales. All whales are mammals. Baleen whales are very large. They filter feed. They mainly eat plankton. A blue whale is a baleen whale. It is the largest mammal to ever live. Toothed whales have teeth. They eat fish, squid, and much more. A sperm whale is a toothed whale. It has a giant head. Its brain is larger than any other animal's. All whales have flippers and flukes. These help them move in the water. Most whales have a dorsal fin. All whales breathe through blowholes. Baleen whales have 2 blowholes. Toothed whales have 1. Many whales travel very far. They move from cold to warmer waters. Whales find food in colder waters. Whales have babies in warmer waters. More facts. Beluga whales are also called white whales. They are one of the few whales that do not have a dorsal fin. They live up to 50 years in the wild. Humpback whales are known for the sounds they make. The sounds they make can go on for hours. They are very complex. Scientists believe they are talking to other humpbacks. Sperm whales are easily spotted by the shape of their heads. Their large heads most likely help them with deep diving. Glossary: dorsal fin, a fin that is found on most whales' backs. Filter: remove food from water. Flipper: a large flat limb used for swimming. Fluke: one of the lobes of a whale's tail. Mammal: a warm-blooded animal that has hair and whose females produce milk to feed their young. Plankton: very small animals that drift through the ocean. Many large ocean animals eat them. You have been listening to Whales by Grace Hansen. Thanks for joining us for today's Animal Explorers Whales. We began our journey today with Rainbow Fish and the Big Blue Whale by Marcus Pfister, published by NorthSouth. And we got to see how words can hurt. The big blue whale and rainbow fish had a misunderstanding over words and actions, and both of their feelings got hurt and a little scared. I loved it when they were able to talk it out. How about you guys? Then we read Whales by Grace Hansen, published by ABDO, and we got to learn all about the different types of some of the whales, what they eat. Do you eat krill? I don't. And how they live. I hope you enjoyed today's Animal Explorers Whales. Let us know your favorite animal so we can cover it on a future Animal Explorers.